Hi everyone, Rod Curry here. We have one of our old friends, a Kz650 here. This is one that hasn't run for a number of years. I don't know how long really. Certainly, I've owned it for perhaps a year and a half because the time between buying them, shipping them, hauling them, getting them across the water from America, it takes some time, and I tend to work through the quick wins first, and this wasn't quite one of the quickest wins. So. I wouldn't normally buy a bike with a 4x1 on, but I thought it'd be very clever, and I bought a 4x1. I bought this bike with a 4x1 on it, and I bought a set of exhausts to go on it. One of them is not great, so will I fit them? I really don't know. I've perhaps been too clever for myself. This one has its share of problems. It had pod filters on, so I've taken the carburetors off to put an airbox in. I always keep an eye out for airboxes, so I bought this one in good time. So I've got an airbox here which I've popped in. The carburetors, when I tried to start it before doing this, they were, as soon as I put fuel in, they were just bouncing fuel everywhere, so I stopped at that point, took the carbs off. I've got them on the bench behind me, and I've given those a clean, freed off the floats that were all stuck because it's so long since the bike ran. I suspect it's not run for perhaps 10 years, but I don't know. There's various other things that are strange about it, and it just showed, as I've said to you before, the odd things people will do with the motorbikes which seem inexplicable to me, but then everyone's taste different, and they perhaps think I'm a purist fool for trying to put them back to the way they came out of the factory, but that's what I like to do. So let's have a little walk around it now, and I'll just show you one or two things. Okay, I'd normally do this outside with you, but I'll just show you outside. And it's a horrible, horrible rainy day out there, and I don't want to leave the bikes out in the rain. I had to push these in and out just to get this one on the stand. But anyway, what have we got? We've got the airbox, as I mentioned to you earlier. It didn't have an airbox on it, which I've found that and popped one in. You can see here someone's over tightened. They've put a bolt in there that's too long, and it'll come down against the frame eventually, so they've felt it hit the frame. They haven't realised what's wrong, tried to tighten up and snapped off. I'll need to get that out somehow. There's this amazing metalwork bolted on here. I truly can't quite imagine what it's for, but I don't know if they've been dragging a sidecar or if it's just some kind of homemade luggage arrangement. I suspect the latter. Anyway, there we are. They've taken the centre stand off, but fortunately, if you can see there, they have left the brackets on. Why anyone would take the centre stand off is a mystery to me. But there we are, as I say, everyone has different tastes. The handlebars are the wrong ones. They put some little flatties on. Once again, I have no particular problem with it, but I want to put it back to original. So I have a brand new set of bars here, which I shall pop on, and they even have the drilling set into the bars for the cabling to come through. So I will show you how to pull the cables through. It's not difficult, it's a bit fiddly, and a lot of people are kind of frightened of it, but nothing to be frightened of. Great thing about it is, look how nice these switches are. They really are pretty, and that's really quite unusual. If a bike's been lying out in the sun or just hasn't been loved, the switch gear usually gets very faded, but this is really nice, so I'm quite pleased with that. It's not killed with miles, 27,000, so if the engine's as good as most Kawasaki engines are, I have no doubt at all this will do the do for us. The brakes are terribly seized, so I'm going to have to pull these off. I didn't need to undo them there to get the bike rolling. I just give it a few thumps with a rubber mallet I have, and it just got them moving enough just for me to roll it in. Clearly it needs some seals, which is neither here nor there. The fork legs, yeah, quite tarnished, but I've shown you how to do that before, and we'll do it again now, and we'll make those look absolutely like new. Really nice fork shrouds, which is great, and the fork ears are pretty clean. That's all right. Good stuff. There's no grips on it. How very strange, but I've got some grips. I'll pop those on. These casings, a bit sad. These casings here are a bit sad, but as we've seen before, we'll soon have those polished back up. This brake is utterly seized. You see that doesn't move at all. I suspect that shaft is seized into the frame there, so we'll need to get that out and working as it should. Anything in there? Let's have a look. Oh, there's a bit of the coffee coloured gunk. That's the about par for the course. Anything else I can show you here? Once again, this odd, I suspect, luggage arrangement. No battery with it, that's absolutely normal. The batteries never survive the journey, even if they're any good. By the time they've been parked up for a while, they don't come back. As I've said to you before, I find modern batteries are absolutely bloody rubbish. Oh, a weird thing here, I didn't want to point out to you. The bike has no kickstart. Why would it have no kickstart? I don't know, unless the mechanism's goosed. I suspect it's not, because I happen to have one, or I managed to get one before the bike was shipped over, and my friend Bob, who looks after things for me in America, popped in with the bike. It has the usual, as ever, scab of chrome missing off the back of these. Every Kawasaki you'll find, or any Z650, I wouldn't like to speak for all the rest of them, but they're all missing this. The chrome is just garbage on the kickstarts. You know, when they put beautiful wheels on. Not this one. This is the C model, but they usually have Kawasaki wheels on. They're gorgeous. So I've had that. I have to have a poke in there, but I'll polish all this up and it'll look great, and the cam box too. But the first thing to do is, let's get these back on. You can see what I've done here. I've set up these as a basic kind of static position to start from. You can just see each of these has the same size gap, just there. You can just see that little line. I'll just make it bigger. You see that little line there? Just where the slide is starting to rise. Well, I've set these all up so they have exactly the same amount available. You can just see that there. Is the same on each one. Just that little line there, the very bottom. It's exactly the same in each. Now, it's not exactly the same, of course, but what it is, it's a good starting point for when we get the carburetors on the bike. They won't be a million miles away once we get them installed and get the bike running. So we'll get these back on the bike and get a battery on it, and let's see if we can get some sparkles up. Okay, let's do it. In case you're wondering where its clothes are, my friend Keith, who you'll see on Facebook as Spray Tank. Come on, that doesn't want to go in there. It's the right size battery, I promise you. Like this battery box is just a bit kind of out of shape. A bit bent out of shape like the rest of us. Yeah, Keith was passing, and so I got its clothes off, and he did what's necessary, and they're looking beautiful now. The tank is actually sitting under here, and you can quite see it from there. But that's it. So it's going to look really lovely when it goes back on the bike. Let's just get a washer for this. As you know, I'm kind of anal about putting washers and stuff. If you don't know, you ought to do. And this is a brand new battery, so it should last hours. I'll just put that back in, it's not in the right place. That's the earth I'm tightening up, by the way. Getting so used to the chassis with it. The screwdriver. I'm going to get a bit closer here. Let's get a washer before I start. That's always one of the most interesting parts. Just get it going, or seeing if you can get them going. And it's seldom you can. The last one was a CL350 that had a real ham-fisted guy in there. It hadn't run since, I don't think it run since 1978. It was the last time it was on the road, and it was clearly, the hand of the ham-fisted bodger was everywhere. But eventually it came back, you know, just because Hondas are just fantastic, the Hondas from that era. Any sparkles up? Hey, we've got some lights. That'll do. Right, let's get the throttle cables and we'll pop these carburetors on. It takes a few minutes. And then we'll give it a whirl. We're going to set these up as well as soon as I get it going, so I'll get the tops off just now. So, just as quick to do it, get the cables in now. Okay, that's the carbs mounted. Let's just nip them up. I'll put the little rubbers and stuff in afterwards, and we'll get a fuel supply on it. See, we've got a spark. I've been kind of off air for the last couple of weeks because I was subject to some well-deserved wifely nagging for spending too much time in here and not enough time doing the things I should do in the house, so I had to invest a bit of time there. Okay, that's them kind of located. Let's just give the cables a wee nip just so they don't fall out. With these bikes there's a pull cable and a push cable. And fortunately they're both pretty easy to get on, as you've seen. Okay, let's get a fuel supply connected up to it, and I might hang my back gauges on. Let's just hang the back gauges on and we can get ourselves in a position where we can see if we can get a spin out of it. Okay, let's see if we've got a spark. There's a gasket on there, that's unusual. Aye, we've got a solid state ignition system there. Fantastic. Okay, let's just stick a plug in there and see if we'll get a spark up. We'll try and whiz it over. Something I didn't expect. Will it do it? Hey, that'll do. Okay, let's get a fuel supply on it. Right, we're just going to pop some fuel in this old girl and see if we can get it to do anything. Haven't seen that solid state ignition system. That was really quite encouraging. Okay, let's get some fuel in our dummy supply. Now we switch it on. Let's make sure we don't have fuel pissing everywhere. That's happened so often. Hang on there. Okay, fuel on. See what it does. And I haven't done my usual trick of forgetting to block the wee pipe that runs up to the vacuum pump on these. Okay, I'm quite hopeful about this. See what happens. turn this off while I get some warmth in the engine. Well, that's a bit of a result. If I could criticise it, this is one noisy motorcycle, and whilst I don't have any immediate neighbours, it doesn't really do to upset people, and I think motorcycling has enough enemies without gratuitously making them by having noisy bikes. I know it sounds like I'm a fuddy-duddy, and maybe I am, but I just really don't think really noisy motorcycles are particularly acceptable. However, it is what it is just now. I've got a bit of warmth into this engine. These are cold little engines, they take quite a lot of warming up, so I've got some warmth into it just now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run it back up, and I'll show you how I set the how the vac gauges. I'll show you how we set the vacuum. I'll show you how we set the carbs up with vacuum gauges. I was trying to say that about 3 different ways. Okay, before I do anything, I'll just tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start this up now, and these should all be there or thereabouts the same. As it is just now, these two are actually slightly out, so I'm going to adjust those so they're exactly the same. So as I say, it's going to get noisy, so here we go. And how I'll do that is I'll undo these little pinch bolts on top of the carbs, on top of the slides, and just adjust there. So here we go. These are dampers, and what you do, you just nip those in so the needle's not fluctuating wildly. I'll show you that in a moment. I need to set the idle to 2000 revs, and that's what it is now. Probably can't see that, but there we are. There we are, I can live with that, that's pretty good. I'll check it again once I've got the air cleaners in, but that should be absolutely fine now. Okay, I can live with that. They're all within, you know, perhaps a quarter of an inch of HG, so I'm really quite pleased with that. They've set up really nicely. It's very noisy, as you can hear, but not a lot I can do about that currently. Okay, I've given these fellas a wee polish up. These little caps that sit on top of the carbs, so I've given these a polish up. I've got some new gaskets here, so I'm going to pop these on, and I'll just make them look so much prettier. So I'll pop those on now. Right, I've got the little caps on top of all the slide chambers there, and I'm really pleased. It's a brilliant result for about an hour's work. I know the engine's dead sound, it runs as sweet as anything, albeit noisy. Hang on, there we go. Ready? I think that's enough not to upset the neighbours, don't you? But it's dead sweet, and I'm really pleased with that. So what I'm going to do next is I'll start pulling the brakes to bits, and let's sort those out. So if you want to see a man struggle and weep, do come along for the next thrilling episode. So if you like this, give a big thumbs up and please subscribe, and if you like bike stuff, keep watching because I'll be doing lots of this.